Hey, Salut Friends. Today we are looking at Costume National Homme from 2020, the best year of all time, of course. This is the parfum version of the original EDT released in 2009, both created by the legendary perfumer Dominique Roupion. Costume National itself is an Italian fashion brand based in Milan. They have this fusion of street style and traditional Italian attire with their fashion, dubbed as street couture at times. Their founder and creative director, Ennio Capazza, even trained in Tokyo. So there are elements of Japanese purism in their styling. As far as fragrances go, they are still a relatively new and small brand that started 20 years ago and have about the same number of fragrances, mostly with a contemporary theme to them. I, Scent Intense, 21 and Soul being my personal favorites. Still under the radar for the most part. Their distribution is also fairly limited, it seems, so the options are very tight outside of Italy, which is a shame because within designer fragrances from a signature range goes, they are easily one of the handful of brands still doing some good work. Using good perfumers certainly seems to help. Speaking of which, this is created by Dominique Roupion. They have worked with other IFF perfumers like Julien Asquinet as well. Roupion is mostly known for his niche creations these days. Since the early 2000s, when all the big legacy designer houses assigned an in-house perfumer, poor Roupion had to restrict himself to Paco Rabanne, YSL, Lancôme and other lower tier designers, unfortunately. Or I should say poor us, because surely it has at least served him well, I would think. But it's nice to see his hand on signature releases like this now and then. Coming to the smell, this one is a very traditional oriental spicy woody scent, opens with some grapefruit and bergamot, hints of which lasts for a good amount of time, just the tang and rindy facets without the freshness. Right after, I get this dry, somewhat sharp, earthy, almost flinty vetiver coming in, which is very autumnal. This dried leaves, bucolic kind of vibe is certainly present. The spices start to come in after that, notably the cinnamon, cardamom and clove. Here the clove, which was dominant in the EDT, has been toned down and the cardamom is more dominant. I sometimes struggle with the clove in the EDT, so for me this was a welcome change. It was so earthy, borderline old school carnation-like in that one. Here the sort of cool mentholated spiciness of the cardamom combined with the warm, rustic cinnamon is more appealing and comforting to me, as it is one of my favorite spices, again giving this holiday sensation. Thankfully the spices are not too sweet here, just the touch of natural sweetness of the extract is present. As a result, this is less aromatic than the EDT. As it dries down further, it starts becoming more and more ambery and woody. The labdanum is more dominant than the benzoin and vanillic facets, still understated with a touch of smoky, musky, resinous quality without going to the leathery side. Labdanum and the remnants of the bergamot and clove create this classy vibe. There are even hints of Shalimar and Musk Ravageur because of that. I am even picking up hints of something herbal like lavender, thyme or clary sage. A good amount of dry sandalwood comes in the further dry down, serving as the bed for the spices, cardamom and cinnamon, which are still going strong along with the labdanum and vetiver. It also makes this a more smoother, woodier version of the EDT. I also get some patchouli joining the sandalwood and vetiver. Cinnamon seems to be the longest standing spice. This woody, spicy, musky smell is what is left as the scent finishes its journey. The performance is pretty good, lasts a good 8 to 10 hours. Diffusion is also good, a bit understated compared to the EDT, semi-casual fall and winter kind of scent, works any time of the day. Of course going to be traditionally masculine leaning. The fragrance itself is quite straightforward and does not overstay its welcome in spite of being a parfum concentration, so not to worry about it being intrusive. The pricing is also not bad at all, even at retail, but I have seen them at discounters for under 100 euros. In summary, I am a big fan of it, especially with it being a signature range release. I do prefer the parfum version over the EDT, It also performs better for me. I also think it's redundant to own both as they are fairly close. They also seem to have not cheaped out from the looks of it, using LMR raw materials and such, which is Laboratoire Monique Chemie, which supplies ingredients to some of the top houses, including niche ones. Frederic Malle has name dropped them several times, for instance. Dominique Hopion has also done well with this mature composition. This suave, charming gentleman wearing a tailored trench coat, soft flannels and boots, taking a walk outdoors is kind of the image I get. That's what is resonating about this. It's not like the designer fragrances that are coming out now or even in the last 15 years, most of which go in the fresh, aquatic, aromatic, sweet, nondescript woody amber direction. Recently, the green and mineralic scent profile is also trending. It more so harkens back to compositions like Obsession for Men, Chanel Egoist, M7 and Gucci Envy, even Abbey Rouge and Heritage to some extent, mainly because of embracing the woody scent profile, which for some reason most designer brands have moved away from these days. This is still modern, but much more classier than what other designers are pumping out now. As someone who loves woody, spicy scents, I am glad that at least brands like Costume National put out creations like this and many others, one of the few houses whose creations I look forward to. That has been my review of Costume National Homme Parfum. Thanks for watching, take care and ciao.